All right, guys. So with me, I have Jack. Jack's been working with me for a minute now. So, long story short, he started this business in college. Busy guy. As he might be able to tell you a little bit better than I can. So, without further ado, I'll let him have the floor. So, Jack, take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Lucas. So, just to give you guys some background on who I am and where I came from and how my experience in this type of business model. I started about 8 months ago, this summer before my junior year, and I've always had an interest in entrepreneurship. Never really took the leap, and I literally was like scrolling on TikTok, and I saw Lucas and I think I saw Zach first, but I saw both you guys talking about your business and just like general tips and everything. And I actually reached out to both you guys, was just asking questions, and I eventually took the leap and started the business. Like I said, that was like around 8 months ago. But in April, we finally had our first 10K revenue month. And that's been a huge milestone for me. But it's been really helpful because I've been really relying on Zach and Lucas, specifically with just teaching me pretty much all these things about this business that you wouldn't really know. And the only way you would really ever learn is if you learn from somebody who's done it. And I really started to do that. And obviously have gotten to this point now, and I'm looking to scale much more and continue to grow. But whether it was being stuck at like 6K or just starting everything up, those have all been like super big humps for me to get over. And they've kind of guided me through all of them. But I guess, Lucas, do you have any of those you want me to kind of dive in on now? But I guess that's kind of like the background of who I am and where I came from.
No, dude, yeah. I mean, the biggest thing, like for a lot of people that I work with or that I talk to in a similar position like yourself, a big problem is the startup, right? So, what for
Yeah.
you was kind of the biggest problem that you had with startup?
Um. So my mindset has all like has shifted into this like as long as I show up every day, like the problem will be solved. And early on, I was hit with all these crazy, like stupid problems. Like I had a bank that I was working with and they like never sent me a debit card. So I like couldn't buy everything. I had issues with like my insurance. The first like 5 to 10 people I talked to, like wanting to be a cleaner for my team, just were terrible. And then the first lady I actually brought on, she like ghosted me like three cleans in. It was actually the day after my 21st birthday, but I can get into that, whatever. But that was like early on, I just was hit with all these roadblocks. And my mindset was these problems seem unsolvable now, but if I just show up every day and I decide to just attack it in however I can, then I'll eventually solve it. And as time had gone on, this like me not having a bank was like the biggest problem, and like my insurance not going through all the way was like the biggest problem. And then you get like a month later, and I'd solved those problems just from showing up every day. And then I have new problems. I got to bring on the right cleaner. I got to find out how to advertise and all these different things. And it's like if you just show up every day and attack it, it's eventually going to solve itself. Especially when you can rely on people as well, like Lucas and Zach, who know what they're doing and they can tell you what to do because they've done it before. And then all you got to do is show up. That's really all it takes to get out of that stage. And once you figure it out, once you get like honestly, all you need is like one or two good providers, then you can kind of just scale that, and then eventually add more cleaners, find more clients, and kind of just keep growing that. But early on, it's all about just having the mindset that you're going to solve the problem, but you just gotta show up every single time
Yeah.
to make it happen.
How important would you say that having like some degree of like a roadmap to follow has been?
Yeah, well, like I remember like talking to you guys early on and just being like, dude, like I mean, I'm trying to think like Thumbtack, for example, was like a big thing I advertised on. And I was like, dude, like, what do I like do? Because like I mean, you can go on YouTube and just find like whatever, like general advice from like gurus or whatever. And it's like when you don't know, when you haven't done it, you can waste a lot of time. Like I think that's what I was kind of doing early on because I was just kind of throwing, shit at the wall and it wasn't really solving anything. But when you can have like a real, because I remember that's what you gave me, like a real good roadmap for step one, step two, step three, timeline, and everything. That helped a lot because it was like now I know I built the habit of being able to show up, but now I know what I have to do because like the ambiguity that comes with like entrepreneurship is like one of the weirdest feelings ever. Because whether you're at school, you're at a job, like you're going to be told what to do, and if early on you don't have that, you can kind of go in the wrong direction. So that was a lot of help early on, and I think it was really important for the initial growth and success.
So with you being stuck at like what 6K for
Yeah.
I don't know how to like just break down the last 8 months for me if you were to segment that off What were you doing like those first 2 months? If you were to break this down to like quarterly,
Yeah,
increments. So that first 2 months, what
yeah.
were you doing?
I mean, I could just like, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. So like, we did our first real clean like halfway towards like the end of August, and it was really just relying on like family friends because like advertising wasn't there at all. I was reaching out to old bosses, like I said, family friends, neighbors, whatever, and I really didn't have any idea of where like what was working advertising wise, and that's where I kind of had to try a bunch of stuff out, see what worked, and then kind of double down on what was working. Um, so like we get to September, where obviously we have a couple of new clients, but it's like it's still not really working because I was just trying different things. So like I mean, early on, I like set aside a good amount of money that I was just I'm gonna throw this all into the business because like early on I wasn't profitable because I had put in like $3,000 into like having it sit in the bank so I could just have like pull for advertising, payment for cleaners, whatever. Um, and then once I found out what worked, kind of I would say month 3 or 4, that's when I found what worked for me, and I kind of doubled down on that. Um, and then I guess to go further, November, December, that was where it was like Christmas time, Thanksgiving. Like there was a lot of people who were needing cleaning.
Mhm.
Um, and that was great. But the issue then was like, I didn't have the people I needed. Also with December, like a lot of people don't want to work during the holiday season. Like the people that aren't taking it seriously. So the issue was finding people and then retaining, good talent, good cleaners. And that's where I kind of got to like December, we did like 8.3K. The month before that, we did like five. And then we get into January, the winter holiday season rush is done. So we get back down to like six ish, and we do that for like 6 to 8 for like 2 to 3 months. And then literally like last month, I finally brought on like 2 to 3 more great people. And then once that was the case, I had figured out my advertising. I'd figured out like what I was going to do, and that comes a lot with just like trying stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, talking to experts, people who have actually done it before, and then just doubling down. And obviously at that point I was profitable. I was like making money. I was like increasing. But from there it kind of just grew. And then once you have the backbone of people that you can trust and you can really know you can send out there to do a great job, there's nothing holding you back from scheduling as much as you can. So I guess that's
Mhm.
kind of what led us to the successful month end.
So with you, so main characteristics would be advertisements and fulfillment, right? Marketing
Yeah.
fulfillment, right? So when you
Yeah.
talk about like you finally had that breakthrough with marketing, what like just talking about the marketing side of things, what wasn't working, and then what did you do that started working?
Yeah. So I put like, I mean, I want to find the exact like thing here, but I was like, I'm gonna put a bunch of money in Facebook, like Meta, uh, Google search ads, Google LSA, door hangers, and Thumbtack. And
Mhm.
I like did all of those. I like went and put up like 500 door hangers and like around where I lived. Um, I don't think I got anything from the door hangers, unfortunately.
So that's
Uh, I was on Meta and like it was fine. The lead quality was really, really low. Like you'd have people that was just like I think I called somebody and like I just got cussed out and like hung up. And then like you'd have people that like, yeah, I want to pay $50 for like a full house clean. And it's just like, what are we doing here? And then Google search ads, I had some good traction, but it was like with your SEO, you kind of need some time, is what I think we've talked about a couple times, and
yeah.
just in general, you need some time to build that up. But the most success I found was LSA and Thumbtack. I've done a little bit more with Thumbtack, and it's honestly probably been where the majority of things have come from. But honestly, as time has gone on, I've gotten more and more leads from Google and LSA. Like, I mean, I had a big booking literally fully through Google. I didn't even talk to them, and they booked it, and it was like it worked for us. We were able to get it scheduled out and everything. But with that, it was just trying stuff and then like seeing what worked, and then obviously doubling down on what did work. But then it's like um, I kind of wasted a lot of money and a lot of time early on because I didn't really know what worked and how to make those certain things work. But that's kind of right when I was starting to really like work with you guys a lot more, and be a little bit more focused on like learning from you guys. And like that's where I was like, I mean, you guys were talking about Thumbtack and honestly LSA were like the two that worked for you guys, obviously worked for me as well. I know Meta is a little bit more one off. Like it's probably better for like carpet cleaning or some sort of large service that you do one time. But I found that those aspects worked, and then it just kind of doubling down on those as time went on.
Nice, dude. And then as far as like fulfillment side of things, apart
Yeah,
from just quantity alone, what specifically did we help you implement that you were able to bypass some of those roadblocks with hiring?
yeah. So just like honestly, the whole funnel of like bringing people on. So like starting with like Indeed, Nextdoor, even Facebook, getting just a bunch of candidates. And then kind of, I know we did a lot with like the onboarding. I know you helped me with your onboarding like packet thing or
Mm,
walk me through how to build that. And that was really great because like the onboarding process is a little confusing because you got to get them set up on like all these different things. I'm kind of putting it in one place helped a lot with the speed of everything. And not having to answer those like small questions that a lot of them had, like those FAQs. Um, and then I'm thinking more on like honestly like scouting out on who's actually going to be a good fit. So like a little earlier, just like I know you guys talk big about like the want is like a big thing, like how much they want it, and you kind of tell you can pick up on that in like a call where it's like they seem like they want to work and they want to do a great job. And sometimes that can even beat out like the more experienced people because I feel like of the people now, like looking back, like the ones that were a little bit more excited early on and the ones that might have had a little bit more experience but were a little less responsive, excited. The excited ones I feel like have done a little better, but you still need a good amount of experience. And I know we've talked a lot about like what a happy medium is with that.
yeah.
Um, and that whole aspect of like not wasting time on the wrong people and then speeding up the process of onboarding was a big thing that I think helped me a lot with just like outsourcing and speeding up that process, as much as possible.
Yeah, dude. No, for sure. So how many people do you have on the team now?
Um, Again, like not all my girls work full time, and then like some people like I mean I'm not gonna count like one off people that like don't work for me anymore, but I would say I have about six like girls that work a good amount, and like maybe one who barely works much anymore.
Hmm.
But I think it's important to have like I have like probably two to three girls that work most days and are like really this is like their main source of income. You can definitely tell, and I learned that too from getting to know them better. Then I have like a couple of backups that are kind of good to work whenever, but like also they might have other commitments, so
Yeah.
they're not like the main people. And then like one girl that worked for me a lot had some family stuff come up, so she's kind of working a little less. But then like you kind of learn that as time goes on. But I think it's important to have more cleaners than you need sometimes because you never want to have jobs that you have closed, went through the whole process of finding the lead, closing the lead, and getting them booked, and then not having anybody to do it. Like that's always the worst feeling. So I guess that's how my like provider like roster looks right now.
Yeah. What's a among those, six consistent cleaners, like what is a common thing amongst them that you noticed?
Like of like I guess like a good trait. Is that what you're saying?
Trait wise, onboarding wise, what is a common thing that they all share, if anything, or maybe they're all just like completely different and kind of
Yeah.
like one off.
Um. Well, I know I talk about you need to be like you gotta want it. You also gotta have some experience. A lot of them have good experience, which is good. But I think a big importance too that I haven't touched on is like they're all very personable, and that was a big thing that I've been looking into. That we talked about like early on. Is you want to when you need to have like a video interview or like a phone call or both most of the time to kind of feel them out, make sure they can just have a conversation because that's super important because you got to realize when you go out and do these cleans, like you can talk to them, you can soften them up over the phone, but like the cleaner's going to get there, and that's going to be what they remember. And you got to the importance of how you make those clients feel when they're actually the clean is being done is super important. So all the girls that have been successful with the company and have consistently done a great job are the ones that can really just speak and build that connection with me and with the clients as well.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the reason I ask is because among all the questions that I get, that is a common one: is what do you look for in the cleaners that you hire, right? So for
Yeah,
us, same exact situation as you. We're looking for adaptability, and not only adaptability, but also willingness to adopt, our systems,
yeah,
Booking Koala, Stripe for payment processing, direct deposit, looking at a job bulletin for jobs, right? Those are all things that these cleaners might not be used to. So looking for a
yeah,
cleaner that is willing to adapt and adopt those systems, that's kind of a good, I guess, selling point that that the
yeah.
cleaner's going to be good.
Yeah, I think with that too, it's like they're willing to adopt, and they're also like not afraid to ask questions. Like I'm big on like having a big open field of communication. Like if you have a question, especially if they're new, like if you have a question about anything, whether it's payment, scheduling, when you're at the clean, like what to do, like that's where you let me help you. And like
Mm,
a lot of the girls, like, they might have a lot of questions and maybe don't know exactly how to do a certain thing. But if they're willing to ask and they're willing to improve, like that's a great foundation to build early on that's gonna, pay back multitudes in the future.
yeah, dude. So with you being
So,
at 10K right now, how many clients did that take you this month? What does the client breakdown look like with that? How many are recurring? How
um,
many were one
like
time?
yeah, yeah. So like last month, if we were to, I mean, I'll just pull up the report. Um, so we had 51 bookings. Average revenue for booking was like $200. But the breakdown of like let's see, recurring to one time, 30 of our cleans last month were recurring. 18 were biweekly, 11 were monthly, and then 21 were one time. While the one times are probably a little bit more like higher because they're like deep cleans, one time move out cleans.
Mm-hmm.
The real money honestly comes from the recurring because, like, I mean, everybody knows this, but you find somebody, you pay for the lead, that might cut into your profit margin. But when you bring them back constantly, 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 like you're not paying to bring them back, like
Mm-hmm.
they're only gonna be more of a like appreciating asset. So like the big thing now is just to continue to build that funnel of one time to recurring because they're much more valuable if you have them on a consistent basis.
Yeah, dude. So what does your funnel for that look like right now?
Yeah, so I actually like really um I've focused on this recently. And honestly, like it's big with like, so like I guess like the normal is like let's call them, close the lead, reach out day of the clean, do the clean, reach out after the clean. I'm a big on, I'm like, I don't charge them until I hear from them, confirm that everything went well. And if that isn't the case, either send somebody back out or discuss what we would do moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
But we do that clean, and then I'll either try to get them on a recurring deal that day, and then I'll either follow up in a few days or like a week, and then whether it's over the phone or over text, like give them the idea of what that would look like, and then really selling on the fact of like, I have all your info here. All we really got to do is agree on a date, and then you can just get rid of this off. This doesn't have to be something you think about at all. And then with booking call is really nice because you can just like put it in there every 4 weeks or this day in the month, and then they're just good to go going forward.
Mm-hmm.
But a big thing too, another funnel with like clients I've done in this and all these funnels, I use Zapier, so it's like a automation tool that helps with like small things that you don't have to do every time, like sending texts out or reminders and everything.
Yeah.
But a big thing that I do with reviews, because reviews help with bringing in more clients, whether it's on Google, Thumbtack, and everything. But every time someone leaves me a 5-star review on our website, those really don't do much for us because it's like, I mean, booking quality doesn't allow you to lie on reviews, but if somebody sees like you have reviews on your website, it's like, oh, is that real? But what it does is it takes that 5-star review and then it sends them a message saying, hey, here's your 5-star review that you sent. Here's the wording you put. If you'd like, it'd be a huge help. You could put these on Thumbtack and Google.
Yeah.
So it literally is so easy for them. They just copy and paste it, go on Thumbtack, put it on there, go on Google, go on whatever exterior platform, and that helps bring in more people. And then also offers like to, word of mouth or whatever. But that funnel of like recurring, I guess to go into more detail on that, is constantly following up with them, building the relationship through my cleaner doing a great job, and then through just that connection that I make, while also automating those little things I don't want to deal with, and then encouraging referrals, reviews that kind of add on to that, and then as we go forward, I mean it's been slowly working more and more and more, and now I feel really good about it because the systems are almost in place now, and it's just about pushing clients into that funnel because the funnel's there, and it just kind of turn over and create more recurring clients.
Yeah, dude. 100%. So with you, where you're at now, where do you want to be with this business by next year, I should say?
Next year, yeah, I mean the growth we've seen in honestly like the past, like in November we did almost 5K because that was like one of our worst months, and then in April we doubled that. So I guess by that math, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, like double every 6 months. Like it'd be awesome. I mean, this is kind of crazy, but like 20 to 40K monthly revenue. I mean, on the high end, I guess I would just say 40 if we were to double twice.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's where I probably want to be. And then once we get to that point where we have enough money coming out of it, like that we're profiting, then I can kind of invest in bringing on people, whether it's some sort of VAs or maybe an actual like general manager to handle everything, who's also like in the area. Maybe invest in potential. I know you guys did this like with carpet cleaning, having that on as well. But it just comes from just relying on the systems that are built and then just continuing to like scale that,
Yeah.
and doing what works.
What do you forecast your service area to be by that time?
Yeah, so like we have expanded that too, and it's honestly been dependent on who the cleaners are because like with it being this remote model, I could technically go and do this in California if I wanted to, if I had
Yeah.
cleaners there.
Yeah.
But I've actually been expanding. Like there's a city below where I am, and that's where like a lot of companies are. But I kind of feel like, or what I've seen is there's a lot less competition above. So I mean, I've pretty much doubled my service area since we started. And that's just from finding people in those areas, higher traffic areas that aren't a little less utilized. And then also there's a college town. The school I go to is right close to not right beside it, but close to my area that I've been expanding into as well. So honestly, just like as I bring on more cleaners, like expanding the service area in that same rate. So I guess then doubling or quadrupling it within a year, or then just doubling down on those areas that the clients are really coming from.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, dude. So
Yeah. So
we're about almost out of time here. If you have one thing that you could say to somebody that's wanting to start this business, but
yeah.
is hesitant for whatever reason, what is some advice, given the point that you're at now, what is some advice that you'd give to them?
Um, I mean, like I think early on I thought it would be, when you see like remote cleaning business, like, oh, this is gonna be so easy. And of course you should know that it's not going to be. But I wouldn't stray away from early on if like I said, my first cleaner, third clean in, left me, like ghosted me the day of night after my 21st birthday. Like I was at a point there, and like I mean, I have like a TikTok like of that exact day where I'm like talking about it, and it's like, dude, like this is gonna be, this is so bad. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But that shouldn't be like something that stops you. I think when you build the systems and you build the kind of the back end and everything, like you can, I guess, you can be successful, and it doesn't really matter if you lose somebody because you can just bring somebody else in. So don't be afraid of like those early big issues or problems because you've almost come this far, or you've done enough now where it's just you got to keep pushing because I'm sure you can talk about this. Everybody has those issues early on,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're able to get through that, like that's what's going to allow you to grow. Like it's almost like I like to see it as like the price of admission. Like there's going to be 100 people that want to start this type of business, and they're all going to run into an issue early on, and it's going to be those 10 people that are able to get through that unsolvable problem. They're going to get to a point where they're scaling and growing long term.
Mm.
But having that in mind, that everybody successful has gone through that, and they paid their ticket to get to this point. So you almost got to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And everybody's gone through it that's been successful.
Yeah, dude. No, I mean, dude, with talking to us, I mean,
Yeah.
we've had our fair share of issues and problems and setbacks, and it's just a matter of going through it and knowing that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Like
Yeah.
you said, dude, I couldn't have said it better. Dude. Everybody who is successful at some point in their business journey has gone through a bigger issue, a similar issue, an issue of some degree that is, like
Yeah.
you said, again, unsolvable, right? You look at it at that time, you're like, dude, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this. I don't know if I can.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can keep going. But it's just knowing that this is just part of it. This is part of the game. This is the you gotta
Yeah.
pay to play. You know what I mean? So to that effect, bro, that's 100% spot on.
Yeah. Because it's one of those things where, like you said, everybody's gone through it. And when you can rely on people that have gone through it, you can talk to them, they can walk you through it. Like it's going to be something that you're going to be able to solve, especially when you have help. But like to your point too, like another mindset you could have is like somebody has defeated this exact problem from a worse position. So it's possible, like it's been done. So you can just have that in mind, know that everybody's gone through those similar issues. So it's just about having that belief and waking up every day and working through it. That's going to allow you to, beat the problem that seems unsolvable.
Yeah. Well, dude, I mean, I'm excited for what to see what you can accomplish next, bro. I mean, I know you're at 10K
Yeah.
now. That's a huge goal. Don't get complacent, because
Yeah.
that's a big problem that a
Yeah.
lot of people have. Just keep pushing, dude, and really excited to see what's next for you.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Thank you, bro. Again, I really owe you guys a lot because of how ambiguous and challenging it is at the beginning. Um, and yeah, I'm excited to see what comes in the future.
Yes, sir, bro. All right, dude. All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you in the next video. Jack, have a good day, brother. We'll talk to you soon, and
Yep.
have a good one.
Awesome. See you guys.
See ya.